Oh, hi there. Here we are with the EFP Steadicam and one of the new Panasonic AG-AF101 micro 4/3 inch camcorders with very nice Nikon lens on the front. Quite nice and wide, you know. But the point about these, and the trouble for Steadicam operators, as with film incidentally, is that these things, being bigger chips, are consequently shallower depth of field. So it's a bit more difficult to keep things in focus, especially if you're on a Steadicam and you're on the move. So, you know, keeping things a set distance from the lens is fairly tricky at the best of times. But when you're in motion, and for instance your talent is in motion as well, well, then you know, then you call in the professionals. Oh, very nice. So what this shallow depth of field thing means is that we can get some really nice creeping slow moves, especially with this or a longer lens. This is the 14-24 Nikon f2.8, so you can imagine, you know, the depth of field is absolutely minimal. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll notice that even I can't get it spot on all the time. With the Steadicam, that opens up a whole range of beautiful cinematic possibilities. So for instance, a little creeps along. Let's just roll on this a second. So for instance, I've got the first one of these little leaves in focus here, and I can do some lovely little creepy moves along with the Steadicam. And as the Steadicam moves along the branch, different leaves come in and out of focus, and it just all looks beautiful and very arty, which of course is you know, the sort of look that people are looking for always, and particularly these days with the advent of DSLRs that do video. This camera incidentally is fantastic, and if you've ever used a DSLR to shoot video, you'll be all too aware of the drawbacks to shooting with one of those. Whereas this has none of the drawbacks and all of the benefits, as far as we can see, and we've been playing with this for a couple of months now, and we're really very pleased with it. And the fact that it can happily balance even on this, which is, you know, really a Steadicam that's too big for it. Notice we've got all the extras we could possibly have. We've got the radio mic receiver, we've got extra battery on the back, we've got mattebox rails, everything we could put on here at the front. And I've totally stripped down the EFP Steadicam, totally stripped it down. So we've got small battery, we've got small TFT monitor rather than the big green screen that we usually use. So it's as light as it can be, and we can it's just about heavy enough to balance the trusty EFP arm. So what can we say? It seems to work very well. Can't wait to shoot something more exciting like a corporate or a film with this, because I think this will become a very popular setup. AG-AF101 on Steadicam. Guess my vote. Hi, so as we walk back to the staging area, Kev's going to be on the shoulder and I'm going to be on the AG-AF101 on Steadicam, and just to see the difference really for those of you who haven't perhaps used Steadicam before and want to know why they're so good and why they're very popular and why Steadicam was invented in the first place. Hopefully you can see, if you're on my picture, you can see that Kevin is beautifully stable in the shot. All I'm doing is concentrating on the framing, but the shot itself is beautifully smooth. Those of you, by the way, who don't know how Steadicam works, it's all about isolation, isolating the camera's movement from the operator's movement. So if I let go, for example, of the Steadicam, it carries on doing what it's doing, more or less in the same direction. This is a very light rig, as we said, so it has a tendency to be influenced much easier by wind and bits and pieces than if it were much heavier. But essentially, it does its job regardless of whether I am influencing it. All I'm doing is keeping it pointing in the right direction, keeping the framing on, bits and pieces like that. which means that it keeps everything beautifully smooth. I can see what I'm doing with the built-in monitor, so I don't have to be looking in the viewfinder.
That's good. Okay.
Smoothly does it.